welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you don't know me, my name is Ebony. I am a human design embodiment coach, and this is my YouTube channel. Hello. So I know it's been a while since I made a video, but that's okay. We're gonna get back into the swing of things. And welcome to all the new people on my channel. I'm so excited we hit 100 people, and I'm gonna be doing a giveaway very soon, so stay tuned for that. So today in this video, I'm going to start my authority series because my last video was about what is authority. So in this video, we're going to be talking about emotional authority. It's a very, very common authority. So I figured we would start with that first. However, before we jump in to the video, I do want to let you all know that in my description, I have a free human design embodiment guidebook. And this is, if you've wanted to start with, trying to embody your human design and take baby steps to really coming into alignment with your human design and your unique design, then this book is going to be invaluable for you. It goes through your type, your authority, and your strategy, all laid out in a gorgeous, it's all laid out in a guidebook. So if you are interested in that, it is free. Just click the link in the description and you'll get that sent right over to you. Also, if you are interested in getting a reading with me, please feel free to message me on Instagram or on TikTok. I'm on there a lot more than I'm on YouTube, obviously. But if you're interested in getting a reading, why can't I speak today? If you are interested in getting a reading, message me on Instagram or on TikTok and we can set that up. Okay, enough of my talking. My talking about things that aren't related to the video. Anyway, emotional authority. So there are 7 different types of authority when it comes to human design. And emotional authority, I want to say, is, aside from sacral, I think emotional is the most common authority, if I am not mistaken, which is, fun. If you have an emotional authority, that means that your solar plexus is defined. And the interesting thing about having an emotional authority and emotional authority in general is that it doesn't necessarily help you make the decision. It's more about when you are meant to make aligned decisions. So if you have an emotional authority, it means you have your own set emotional wave. You have a set way of how you experience things emotionally, rather than someone who has an undefined solar plexus like I do. I can experience emotions in a multitude of different ways, and most of the time the emotions that I'm feeling either are not mine or they were triggered by something else in my environment. But if you have an emotional authority and you have your solar plexus defined, you have a set emotional wave, you have a pretty set way of how you experience emotions, and you can experience emotions just out of anywhere, out of the blue. Like, nothing has to trigger you, nothing has to come into your experience. You can just experience things on a dime, which can be a blessing, but it can also be a curse, So when it comes to having an emotional authority, and if you don't know what authority is, you should check out my last video. But with your emotional authority, it's very important that you understand that you are meant to make big decisions when you are in an emotionally neutral place. You don't want to make big decisions when you're at an emotional high, because when you're at an emotional high, like joy, happiness, when you're really up there, you're more inclined to say yes to more things than you're able to commit to energetically. And then if you try to make decisions when you're at an emotional low, you're going to say no to more things than you normally would. So you want to make sure that you're at this energetically neutral place so you can make the most aligned decision for you in that moment without over committing your energy or under committing your energy. Sorry, something was happening over there. So that's essentially the basics of an emotional authority. So with this, when you're actually time to make the decision, like when you've determined, okay, I'm not feeling an emotional high, I'm not feeling an emotional low, I'm neutral right now, like I feel calm, I'm cool, I'm collected, I'm ready to make this big decision, right? When you get there, then you refer to your secondary authority, which if you are a manifesting generator or a generator, your secondary authority will be your sacral center, your sacral authority, which we're going to talk about in another video. And if you're a projector or a manifester, then your authority could be a multitude of other different authorities, which we're also going to talk about. But if you have an emotional authority, for smaller day-to-day decisions, you refer to your secondary you refer to your secondary authority. For big decisions, you're also going to refer to your secondary authority to make the decision, but you want to tap into your emotional authority first and determine if you are in an emotionally neutral state to make that decision, right? So I really want to make sure that we're understanding this. Your emotional authority determines the when you're going to make this decision. If you're at an emotional high, we're not making any decisions. If you're at an emotional low, we're not making any decisions. When we're neutral, now we switch over to, okay, what's my secondary authority? Is this something that I want to do now that I'm emotionally neutral? What's the T? What are we going to do now that I'm at this emotionally neutral place and I can make an aligned decision? Okay? I really hope that makes sense. And so I'm going to the point of my channel is that I want you to have the information, and that I also want you to be able to apply said information. I don't just want to send you out into the world with all this random useless information and you not be able to do anything with it. So if you have an emotional authority, there are a few things I want you to do every single day. Number 1, tap into your emotions. How are you feeling? Are you feeling super happy? Like, are you high? Are you up there today? Are you feeling super low? Like, this is not like you just want to stay in bed and eat ice cream all day. You feel like crying. Not to say that either of those things are bad or good. It's just to gauge where you are on a daily basis, because this will, as you do this, day after day after day, you'll start to see a pattern. Okay? You will start to see when your emotions tend to be at their highest, when they tend to be at their lowest, and when you tend to be neutral. Because another thing about emotional authorities is that I mentioned you have a set emotional wave. There are actually 4 different types of emotional waves. There's subtle, there's buildup, I just spit all over the camera. There's subtle, there's buildup, there is spontaneous highs and lows, and then there's escalator. You can have that's another thing. You can have more than one of these emotional waves in your chart. So you have to refer to your specific chart to determine which emotional wave do you have as an emotional authority person. And that will kind of help determine when you will feel those neutral emotions so you can make aligned decisions. But the best way to start determining that, the best way to start tracking that, is to start asking yourself, usually first thing in the morning when you wake up, how am I feeling today? What are my emotions doing? Am I at an emotional high? Am I at an emotional low? Am I emotionally neutral, right? Getting a gauge of how you're feeling day to day. Number 1, what I would recommend for emotional authority people, if you're not doing that already, you need to start, okay? And number 2, if you are at an emotionally neutral place, kind of dipping your toe into the things that you're kind of mulling over. So if you have a big decision going on and you determine, okay, I'm at an emotionally neutral place. How am I feeling about this thing right now? Is this a yes for me? Is this a no for me? Tapping into your secondary authority and asking yourself, what's the T? What do we want to do? Is this aligned for me right now? And just kind of getting a gauge for it. Doesn't mean you have to make the decision right now, but just seeing how you're feeling about it in this neutral space. And do that for a few days, because that's another thing. If you have an emotional authority, you're not always going to make these hard and fast, spontaneous decisions. You do not have to act in that way. You do not have to respond in that way. You can take your time. Because again, you're really kind of waiting for that neutral space in your emotions so you can make an aligned decision for yourself. Don't rush that, okay? Ain't no rush. What you rushing to? What are you rushing for? There is no rush. Even if you're on like a time, it's 1:11. even if you're on like a time constraint, do not rush yourself. Okay? Allow yourself to come into a space where you can make an aligned decision. Okay? So those are the two things. Number one, every day, tune into your emotions. How are you feeling? What's going on? Are you high? Are you low? Are you neutral? Number two, feeling into this decision that you have to make. Right now, is it a yes? Is it a no? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings about this thing? Come back to it a few times. And once you see consistency, like you've said, the last few times that I've asked myself, it's been a yes, go ahead and make the decision at that point. Okay? So I hope that this was helpful. I know that I don't know what's going on with me and words today, but it's an interesting relationship, clearly. Again, I hope this made sense. And if you are interested in getting a reading with me, you can message me on Instagram, you can message me on TikTok. If you are interested in the Human Design Embodiment Guidebook, the link is in the description box below. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.